for the first time in my life, feeling really lonely.
And she was suicidal.
33,000 members. And
what has been the scariest part of this journey so far? Hello, tribe, and to our millions of subscribers and followers. Welcome. My name is Candace, all things wellbeing and woo-woo, Anita Tomeski, human behavior expert, and Amy Lynch, community tribe builder, entrepreneur, goddess. So excited to speak to her, founder of Bondi Beach Babes, an iconic group. So well known and so many good things. So I cannot wait to hear all about it. So Amy, who the hell are you?
I mean, your introduction, that is incredible. Thank you. I need you by my side at all times.
I get it.
The ultimate cheerleader.
Yeah,
I'm a big cheerleader.
I love it. So yeah, I'm the founder of Bondi Beach Babes, and it's a community. I set it up kind of just after COVID, and Anita will remember this well, because we were both living in Bondi at the time, and obviously it was kind of testing times, and we were on complete lockdown, and I had a lot of friends. I imagine there was a lot of expats living overseas, a lot of friends that were moving out of Australia, the whole fear of lockdown. And I kind of went through a stage of just feeling, for the first time in my life, feeling really lonely, and sort of very down and a little bit lost. And yeah, I think I am a real doer. So I tried to think of what could I do myself to kind of get myself out of this headspace, and the solution that I came out with was that I sort of needed to create some new opportunities. I needed to meet some new women in my life. So I put out a Facebook post about feeling lonely, and inviting people to come and join me, women to come and join me at a brunch.
And they enjoyed you and your
enjoy
company.
me too. Enjoy and join at a brunch, and we had 40 strangers show up to this brunch, and kind of on the back of that, all these magical things started unfolding, as they do when you kind of, I suppose, take the step to make a change. And sort of fast forward till now, we're like 5-6 years later, the community has exploded. Since then, we've got like 33,000 members in this community. We're now a team of 4. And yeah, my kind of mission is just to make sure that no other woman feels how I did in that time. So I'm just on this real mission to kind of help women to meet other women, and build this kind of community around it.
Can I ask? I mean, I'm so excited because I love community building and tribe building, as Anita will know. Do you find that it's hard for women to say, I feel lonely? Because we have there's a lot perpetuated, and I generalize, around, the girl squad and the this, and we all share and talk. And to come out and say, actually, I feel lonely and maybe I don't feel like I have a tribe. Do you find that in the women you've met?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for anyone to admit they're lonely, women and men. I think it's hard to admit you're in a low place, and particularly I suppose to put that on social media, which is, as we know, like full of highlights, to sort of admit quite vulnerably. I think it is hard.
And I think, Amy, what I really noticed, I don't know whether, this is, but over the years where the community's grown, even from the start, what I thought was really beautiful was there's a lot of women that also were brave enough to admit they felt lonely on a public page.
Yeah.
So I think now there's more, as it's grown, there's more maybe anonymous people, but obviously once they put that out, because there's quite, a few people on there, they will arrange meetups and then become unanonymous, right? But I think there's something really beautiful in the community to be able to see people saying, oh, it's really hard me writing this right now, but I'm feeling a certain way, and then watching all of the support that they get from other women as they arrange, the meetups and obviously all the things that you do, all the events that you put on. So yeah, it's a really beautiful, safe space, I think, for people to be able to share how they're feeling on there. So
And
Yeah,
where
and I
did
think,
you find, sorry, go ahead, Amy.
sorry, and I think for me, kind of setting it up, I know that like social media can be quite a mean place sometimes. I know, sometimes, you could get men commenting or just anyone commenting on things, and it can feel scary to put those things out there. So I think for me with Bondi Beach Babes, it was always this, ethos of kindness comes first and everyone's accepted. And, and I even put like once a week, we sort of set the boundaries, and it's, if there's a troll comment in our page, it's goodbye. Like, and I think setting those boundaries has created this real kind of safe, supportive community where, yeah, like Anita said, women do share, they share loads, not even just about feeling lonely. Like that, there's been loads of different stories where complete strangers have supported each other through kind of some real tricky times.
I remember actually I had one woman reach out to me, and she just said, look, can you just come and meet me straight away? Because she'd seen that I was doing the human behavior, the coaching. And I went to meet her down in Bondi, and she was suicidal. Like, I really remember this. Like, it was literally like she reached out to a complete stranger, and we sat there for an hour, and I helped her to get on to, the experts in, the Lifeline thing. But I sat with her for an hour, and she was literally about to go and walk out into the ocean. That's what she wanted to do. And we sat together and we did some breathing. You could just see the change in her through that. And then I obviously put her on to the experts because suicide's not my own. But yeah, it was a really powerful, moment for her to have, who knows if Bondi Beach Babes hadn't have been there, what might have happened, right? She wouldn't have known to have reached out. So yeah, amazing.
Wow.
Amazing
I've just
stuff.
got
And I'm
goosebumps.
sure there's loads of stories, like that from the group.
So it's a community page as well. Can I just get more of an understanding? Because I've seen obviously there's groups, there's meetups, but is there a closed private group as well?
Yeah. So when I first set it up, we set it up as just as a private Facebook page. And then kind of as it's grown, and then kind of what we do, just to give you kind of like some structure of how it works, we run loads of free meetups now, like each week. So we do run clubs and ocean dips and book clubs, and we have a team of like 20 ambassadors who are all really passionate about helping other women. So they volunteer their time to kind of run a little meetup that they're passionate about. And then we kind of, through these meetups, we set up WhatsApp groups, but we got to the stage where we were maxing out every single WhatsApp group for each meetup. And we kind of found, there was chats on Instagram, there was WhatsApp group, there was Facebook. So we just launched an app a month ago, just with this idea of like this whole kind of community sitting in one place. And now sort of everything kind of sits in that space.
Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations. Like, it's a lot to undertake. I mean, I understand that it's obviously a passion project, but so much business acumen and coordinating goes into the back end of building your dreams, which people don't see. And I can imagine that's happened for you. What has been the scariest part of this journey so far?
I don't think there's one part that's been like, oh my God, this is the ultimate scary thing. I think I consistently get scared of even like little things. Like even now, if I'm running, so we'll run big events as well, from like 200 to 800 people. And those events, if I'm kind of showing up on my own and I'm hosting or anything like that, I will still get quite nervous about rocking up. I get nervous about what to wear. I get nervous about all those, like how I look, and all those kind of silly things that you would at any event. I don't think there's been one hugely scary moment. We're now having a lot of conversations with kind of big brands that are looking to sort of work with us and the community and stuff like that. And I think sometimes I can sort of feel out of my depth in those conversations to be like, oh God, I don't know if I'm saying the right thing here, but I think like anything, I think the more you kind of do it, the more it's now fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Amy, I want to ask about the public speaking side, because when you first started this, you would not let a microphone anywhere near you.
Yeah.
And I've seen so much change in you. Yeah. Like this sort of thing you'd have never have done, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like, I think I was always very conscious of public. I think public speaking is a big fear for loads of people.
Yeah.
Still now, I don't know if I'd stand up and give like a keynote or something like that. That idea petrifies me. I don't think I'd want to. But yeah, I think through practice, like I've now done like quite a few podcasts and panels and stuff like that, and I'm now comfortable in that scenario.
Do you like it now? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
So the things that make you uncomfortable, a little bit nervous, can ultimately become things you enjoy.
I reckon so. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, when someone's in the midst of their anxiety and you tell them that, they're going to give you one hell of an eye roll or a punch. But that's the ultimate feeling. And as someone who's built this from nothing, have you done this before? Are you an entrepreneur? Like, how do you just go, no, I'll just create this tribe and this business? Is this your background or?
Kind of. I have a bit of a I don't have a fear around putting ideas out there. I don't have a fear around just giving something a go. And yeah, my background is in that, in giving it a go and seeing what happens. So I've had a few goes at different businesses. Kind of some, sort of happened around the time of kind of setting up Beach Babes. And so we took over a bar space in Bondi and we had our own. The idea was to sort of have this like safe space for women to kind of come in on dates or come in by themselves. And
that's
I had a date in the pub.
Really? I love that.
With a cup of tea. English cup of tea. I had a date. Yeah. In the pub. I loved that pub. It was so cool.
So many girls.
Such a beautiful space. Yeah. You are definitely a risk taker, Amy. I think you're amazing. I've watched you over the years of, all of the setups that you've done and just gone, how does she do it all? You really are amazing. You had a job at one point, right? You were full-time working whilst doing all of this stuff. And
I had up until until I decided not to have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone who takes risks, Amy, how did you manage a job and your risk taking? Like, how do you juggle that?
I think you just, I don't have I think you just get on with it. I was teaching at a university, and then I had the pub, and then I had Bondi Beach Babes, and then I was doing kind of a few other little things with social media on the side. But I think like I'm just so determined to not live a boring life. And I always, I imagine you're the same. And I always think about living, how can we do this to the max? And if I'm tired, whatever. I want to make things work. So I think a lot of people set up businesses, but don't kind of have this, how do I say this? Like, I remember going on this course and this entrepreneur course, and this guy in the room was like, 2/3 of you aren't at the stage where, you're 100% dependent on this business. So therefore it's not going to work. So, and I think that was quite true. And for me, I was dependent on teaching, but I needed other streams of income to make life work. And I think because of that, and I'd chosen not to do like a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job, I had to make other projects work. So I kind of took the risk on not going into like a corporate salary job, but then I didn't have an option of other things not working. So I kind of think when you put yourself in those scenarios where it has to work, I think you kind of then are more likely to have a go at the risk.
Have a go at
Amy,
risk.
where do you think that came from for you of wanting to live life to the max? Because not everyone has that. You two definitely have that in common for sure. You guys are very similar in that sense. Where do you think that came from for you?
Um, I, I don't know. My dad is quite entrepreneurial. Like he's forever, still in his late 70s. He's like setting up, thinking of business ideas. And I think we probably all got this. I think I've always had that first to travel. And then the more you meet people and the more you find out, okay, there are different ways of living life. I think the more that first kind of continues, I think I try and surround myself, and I imagine you two do, with people who I really kind of inspire to be like. And I think it just, I don't know where it comes from.
Well, it
People
makes
around
sense
me.
if that's what you've seen your dad be like. And did you look up to your dad being like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. We either match or we mismatch our parents, that what they do and their behaviors. So in order to kind of follow that might be because of that, that sense of seeing him as an inspiration. So that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, I love that.
Did you ever have like any fear of failure?
Yeah, I do. I don't have.
How do you cope with that? I have that as well. I mean, as much as I take
you?
risks, I generally freak out sometimes. I go, I'm going to fail. How do you cope with your fear of failure?
How do I cope with it? I have a lot of fear around. I have a lot of unhelpful money stories. But that also come from my dad. And we come from a really working class background, kind of council estate. And a lot of my kind of gamble on myself is, that passion to just, I want to do better, I want to do better, I want to do better. And I think my fear is around money. I know my fear is around money. So I'm consistently just trying to like tell myself, I'm like, okay, I've kind of employed myself for 6 years, like I'm fine. And I think it's just going over those kind of stories that you're feeding yourself. I'm reading this really good book at the moment. I don't know if by Poppy Jamie. Amazing, called the Book of Little Magic.
Nice. We'll put the link in the bio for everyone.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think and a couple of weeks ago, I was in this real fear, like headspace. I was I was like spiraling about money, spiraling. Because I think living that kind of entrepreneur, like I always call it champagne and sausage rolls. Like 1 minute life is champagne and then it's sausage. I'm like, I was in a sausage roll moment.
And I love this.
Completely spiraling. And this book kind of came up a podcast came up of Poppy Jamie talking about this book and kind of stories that we're telling ourselves. And I bought the book and I started reading it, and it's what we already know and probably all practice about looking at those stories again and trying to have fun with life. And I think, she gave some really helpful hints, and it kind of made me come back to myself and sort of sit down, look at those stories. And then weirdly, like the next day, positive things started happening again, and money started coming in again. And all these little miracles started happening. I'm like, oh my God. I think it's just, with fear, I just try and remind myself that I'm all right. I've been there a million times before and it will be okay.
Yeah, and there'll always be sausage rolls and champagne, right? We're always going to have those moments, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's a really valid point on that. Even, in those times of when it is those sausage roll times. We could be champagne times all the time and still find the sausage roll moments in the champagne, regardless of whether we have got the money or we haven't. And I think that's a massive part of all of this. In life, it's like we enjoy the champagne more when we've had the sausage rolls, right? And even vice versa. So I think it's important to acknowledge that. It's like every moment is a moment. The sausage roll moment is a moment, the champagne moment is a moment, but really life is all of them, and that's kind of the chaos and the enjoyment of life, right?
And I think it's interesting you just said that, Anita, because you're right. A lot of people are swimming in champagne, but only see the sausage rolls. And Amy, do you think you're an eternal optimist, and does that help you see more champagne?
I wouldn't say an eternal optimist. You're not even. I don't think I like the challenge, and I like to just try and remind myself it's a game. And I think when you're having fun with it, I try and just I'm not always in this headspace. I am at the moment, but I think sort of when you're having fun with it, I am aware that positive things come back to you. Like I was talking to a friend the other day, we were talking about somebody. We went to a party and we walked in, and this girl's energy, it was so off. So before I even approached her, I knew, I was like, she's not okay, like in a real neggy way. And when I sat down with her, I was like, oh, are you all right? Like, how are you? Like, and she was like, oh, I've had a really shit week. I've lost my job. I haven't got any work, blah, 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 blah. But her spiral was so negative. And I kind of thought, this is really horrible to say, but in my head, I was like, sort of understand why people aren't employing you at the moment. Of course, I didn't say that, but I think I just try and remember, like, when you're with someone negative, you can feel that energy before you even meet and sit and talk with that person. So I kind of try to just be optimistic, but also try and just be really conscious of people want to be around positive people and they want to work with positive people, and try and just sort of sit in that energy. And I think when you do, more positive things happen. It's hard, but I think it's
absolutely. It's a huge, and I think, Amy, regardless of whether you go through your downs and your the ups and that, I think the front facing image of you is the positive. You're laughing a lot. I think to a lot of people that is the impression that they get. And I think when Candice asked the question earlier, were you kind of doing this sort of stuff before? And you kind of went what I've always seen you as ever since I've known you is you're such a people person. Like you are just one of the nicest people I have ever met. Like genuinely, I'm like, I couldn't even imagine anyone thinking badly of you, because you're just such a lovely, lovely person.
And she said that behind your back too. To me,
I say that about you all the time.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Honestly, I really do see that. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I want to ask you on that as well. Has that ever got you into trouble being so as nice as you are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. Consistently, I am told by people, you're too nice, in a work aspect. So when we set up the pub, for example, so Candice, I was kind of front facing in the pub. It was me and my business partner, and it was sort of my, he was kind of the experienced one in the hospitality world. I had a bit of experience, but not a lot. And mine was everything else, like renovating the space, project managing it, managing the team, like literally everything. And from day one, I was, my business partner, I'm sure he doesn't care me saying this, was like, you're going to get taken advantage of here by the team. They're going to rinse you on like free drinks and serving things out, and because you're too nice. Because I will always go in with like sort of, I'm not this harsh boss. But yeah, it's consistently come up again and again.
Was he right? Was he right?
he was right in some aspects. Like once I had somebody who did take the mickey, and it was hard to kind of rein him in because I'd made friends with this guy. Um, yeah, it's a hard one because I think I'm, like you said, I'm such a friendly person that if I have to come down harsh on somebody managing someone, it's hard.
So do you feel
Yeah,
like you
in some
adjusted
aspects
your
he was.
niceness?
Sorry.
Do you feel like that experience made you adjust your niceness?
I think it made me better at managing people.
Yeah.
I think now I'm still like I was still, I want to stay friends with people that I work with. I don't want to be like a harsh boss but I think particularly that business we had a lot of tricky times. And I think it made me just think a little bit more about when I have to have difficult conversations with people. I sort of still need to have a boundary of like, you need to kind of, I'm the boss here, and these are kind of, yeah, the parameters, I suppose. I think it's confidence as well.
Yeah.
I'd never been in that like leadership
Mm.
position. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of confidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes up all the time. Like people are going to take advantage of you because you're too nice.
Yeah. Is it important to you, Amy, for people to like you?
It's important. I don't need to be everybody's friend. I don't
Yeah.
mind people criticizing me. I don't mind not being everybody's mate. That doesn't bother me. I don't care about if someone thinks that my work is not any good or anything like that. I think in terms of, it's important for my like respect, like my friends to like
Yeah.
respect, I suppose. It's
Yeah.
important for
Yeah.
people around me. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important that I'm doing well by like the friends around me, but in terms of strangers, it's not
Okay.
important
Well, clearly
if they're
community and
not.
tribe is really important to you.
Yeah,
Clearly
yeah.
that level of connection is one of your big values in life. If what would be, well, we've talked about you being nice. What's like the major thing you've learnt from starting up Bondi Beach Babes?
Major thing I've learned. Um, I suppose again, it's not all major thing. I suppose again, I suppose trusting in, like we've put out quite a lot of big ideas. And I think the major thing is trusting in myself, having confidence in myself, to kind of go through with some of these big ideas and big brands and stuff like that. I don't think I had that in the beginning.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Can we just touch on the dating thing? I had this
Yeah.
memory pop up as we were talking. So I had started running these dating events, and at the same time, Amy had put out this post about how she wanted to be like set up some dating events to be a dating guru. And I remember you put up some post with some, I don't know, some goddess or some Indian lady or something. I can't remember what it was on something. I don't know if you remember this. And then we got together and we started running, those kind of smaller events, and they grew, didn't they? I mean, are you still doing the dating
We've
stuff?
stopped it now just because I don't have
Oh,
the
okay.
time. But yeah, they did
Wow.
grow. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy the dating ones?
Yeah, it's hilarious. I think it's so funny
Yeah.
having people, seeing it's such a vulnerable position to rock up to a singles event and be like, okay, I'm here to meet people. So I think they were fun in seeing the absolute like face of fear as people walk in and then
Yeah.
watching it evolve to them meeting people. We had a couple get engaged. I don't know. Yeah.
I saw that.
Wow.
So good.
That's amazing.
That is so good. Why aren't you doing them anymore?
Just time. Just
Yeah.
time.
Other
You just
things.
come back to Sydney
Yeah.
and start them up, Anita.
Hey, you should do it.
Are men allowed, because I did have a look at the couple of events, are men able to go to some of these events? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, like a lot of our bigger ones. So kind of when I started sharing Beach Babes, like you were saying, is it just women commenting, I feel lonely. A lot of men got in contact and were like, oh my God, I like, I feel so lonely. Can I come too? And it felt so bad to say no. And I think men struggle because they don't necessarily talk over social media. Like they're not really, there's not a big men's Facebook page where they start sharing their worries or, whereas in Bondi Beach Babes, it's open forum. There's all sorts being shared.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
I mean, all the events you do with all the garage events and all the rest of it, absolutely love all of those. They're obviously for men and women, aren't they? So you get a lot of men into those. Yeah, amazing. They look so cool.
And
so much
what's the
fun.
age demographic generally at your events? Is there an age? Because I looked at it and it seems quite broad, to be honest. It doesn't
quite broad.
seem like it's a one shoe fits all. It's broad, and I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's its uniqueness. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, okay, everyone in here they've just arrived in Sydney. Or, so kind of the age range is like, I'd say 25 to sort of 45-ish. We've got women in their 60s who come. I think it's just, are you willing to just sort of put age aside, rock up and chat to anyone? I think the beautiful thing about that community is there's women in it who are like 50s, 60s, and they're sort of there chatting with girls and making friends with girls in their 20s. And it's this real kind of family unit that I think
and
is
I love
really
that, Amy,
cool.
because I would sometimes see posts where people would be like, we just want to hang out with people our age. And I would see that a lot. We just want to, but what you say is when they actually get together, it doesn't matter what age they are. We don't always need to just be surrounded by people our own age. We can actually, build that community of people coming together of all ages. So that's what, really love that part of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's like we just put up, I did just do like, we did an over 30s brunch at the weekend. And it was so fun. So I'm 44 and there were women kind of commenting saying, hey, I've just turned 40. Is it okay if I come? And I'm like, it's over 30s. I think you qualify. Like, it's real funny how you you see the word 30 and you think, oh, if I'm 40, therefore I don't fit in that bracket. I find it funny.
And we have so much to learn from each other as well, I think.
100%.
I think if we and I love, obviously, I do a lot of 40 plus women work, but I think we miss out on our own growth and learning by not spending time with younger people or older people.
Because otherwise we're just judging, aren't we, from afar? We're just looking and we're judging, and then we're too old or they're too young. But bring humans together, men, women, whoever, and it's a different story, right? We get to meet the individual. So, yeah, amazing.
Wow,
So,
I totally agree.
Amy, whilst all of this has been going on, all these jobs and all this work, there's something else that has been obviously happening in the background, and that's your journey with IVF.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So I started IVF ridiculously also when I opened the pub.
I remember. I remember what you were wearing the day you told me when all the work was going on inside the construction. Yeah, you had a black dress on. I think there was something. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think COVID had a lot of positive things. And I think it made a lot of people kind of rethink what they want out of life, and things can change really suddenly in the world. And I think it was that big sort of mirror for a lot of people to sort of reflect on, okay, what do you want and how are you going to get it? And for me at that time, I was single, and I consistently, I think like a lot of women, always thought I'd meet the partner, have the marriage, have a couple of kids. And I was kind of 40, well, I don't know how old I'm, 38 then maybe. That's it, yeah. And it hadn't happened, and I'd been single for a long time, and I was just like, I need to do something here, or I'm going to really regret that I haven't had kids. So I decided, I did a lot of research, and then I decided to go down the route of a single mum by choice, which is where you work with a clinic, you have a donor, which you get to pick, and then you do IVF by yourself. I don't know how much information you want about it.
And are you
All of
still
it.
on that journey?
All of it.
Are you still on that journey?
I'm at a halt.
Okay.
So it took me a long time. I kind of tell that really simply, because I could talk about it for hours and hours, but it took me a real long time to get to that decision. Like, it wasn't just I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm just going to do IVF and I'm just going to get a donor and there we go. It took me a year to reach that decision. So I started it during COVID, and I went through this whole, like, it's a massive grieving process, I think, like the first few months of kind of really letting go of my whole dream of, like, I'm going to meet someone and have a kid. Like, I need to sort of accept that maybe isn't my path. There was a lot of tears and a lot of counselling that the IVF clinic give you. And then, because I didn't have a partner, you then have to choose a donor. And for me, that was really confronting. It took me almost like another year to pick a donor. And you kind of, how it works is you sign up and you pay a hell of a lot of money, and you see a database, and you basically see photos of the man from when he was a child.
Wow.
And then there's about like a 6-page information spread of the donor. So I found that kind of initial stage took me, like a year and a half or so to get to the donor. Really, really confronting. And particularly like sharing that story with my dad again, and my family. It was a real big thing to say, hey, I've got a donor. And it was a real difficult conversation to sort of educate and talk about with my family.
And how did it go? How was your dad?
Awkward in the beginning. My mum as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like anything. I think if you're uneducated on the process of what a sperm donor looks like they were thinking this just rocks up in the post and I'm inseminating at home or something,
Yeah.
and it's not. So I think when they understood, also I shared a lot with it, of how I got there and a lot of tears, and I think the more they understood about the amazing like science behind it, um, and also my emotions in wanting to be a mum, um, they accepted it. But it wasn't an immediate, oh yeah, go for it, we're really happy for you. It took them a bit of adjusting to get to that stage.
Did they ever try and stop you or say you shouldn't do it?
No.
No, it was just the adjustment. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
like, the shock of doing something. And I think we're really lucky of that first generation that are talking about
Yeah.
choosing motherhood alone and are really public in sharing about it. And I think the first baby was in the 1980s. Like, it's so new.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, anything new in science is a bit shocking in the beginning. And they sort of didn't see that the decision coming, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy, could you talk a little bit about how it was like injecting yourself and all those hormones and how that affected you or didn't affect you emotionally? Do you ever get used to it? How was all that?
The whole IVF process. So you obviously have to inject a lot of hormones, and you do that yourself. And you're injecting up until kind of when you release release your egg. And what you're doing is injecting hormones to kind of stimulate as much growth on your follicles. So on the end of your follicles, you're trying to grow as many little eggs as you can, and those hormones are kind of pumping you up to grow them. I actually found it easy to inject because a friend of mine in the UK was going through a similar thing, and she gave me some really beautiful advice. Of she was like, just make it a really nice ritual, light a candle, have a bath afterwards, read a book. And she was like, this is amazing that we get to do this. And I think having that mindset of her giving me that, I was like, actually, this is a really beautiful way to conceive if this is how it's going to happen. Like, this is really cool. And like, isn't it cool that science has progressed so much that I've got the kind of the power to do this by myself? So sort of every time I injected, I just sort of tried to think of, like, this is incredible that that I'm privileged enough to get to do it, because not every woman can. And just sort of trying to feel grateful around, like, okay, if this is how my baby is going to grow, this needs to feel magical and special. And I try to stick with that. But it hurts. Sometimes towards the end, you get quite swollen, and it can sting a little bit. And towards the end, it's a bit more painful.
It's such a, I mean, it is a courageous thing to do on your own. I have a very good friend who also did IVF on her own at the same age. And the level of commitment she had to the process, like it's on its own, with the needles, with the everything, it was huge. I was just like, wow, it's not even just like, making a decision to have a baby. You commit to the process. That's quite big. So I absolutely acknowledge that for you. I think what's beautiful is that the same time you were in this process, you birthed Bondi Beach Babes.
And the pub.
There are a lot of births going on.
The biggest baby of all. And you have all these, I mean, I'll never compare it to motherhood, but you have all these children and all these lives that you've brought together from this birthing of this beautiful business. And wow.
How did you do it? Oh, that's the things I'd just be like, that's enough for me. I'd need to be lying at home, just, putting these needles in me, feeling swollen. So I know you experienced a lot of swelling, didn't you, in the body and all that. And like, how did you do it all?
Like, do you feel like you I just want to check in. Do you feel like that birthing Bondi Beach Babes is one of your babies?
I feel like I've birthed a lot. Like I'm forever birthing. Yeah.
How did you manage it all, though, Amy?
I think just cracking on with it, and
I think it's what you do best, right? In a way, you get on with things, don't you?
Yeah. And I think because I had so much going on, particularly at that time, I think the less time I had to think about things, the better. So during that first round, I was renovating a pub, I was injecting in the toilets, I was serving pints, I was like all sorts. And I think I just didn't have time to think about it. Whereas now, so sort of the story of where it's gone now to sort of round up to, I suppose. So I've done 8 rounds, and haven't been successful. I've had several embryos in, but not survive. And so now I'm at this stage of quite another difficult sort of decision to make. So my next stage is I get embryo sperm and donor eggs is a decision. Or I go again with myself. Or I can get a donor embryo. So there's sort of a big
So what does that mean, Amy? Tell us what that means, donor embryo.
Donor embryo. So couples who have already done IVF. So when you do IVF, you can create more than one embryo.
Wow.
So kind of the process is you do your hormones, you have an egg collection, collect as many eggs as possibly can. They then try and fertilize as many of those eggs as they can. So you might be really lucky to fertilize, say, 5 embryos. And usually what happens is from the embryos that are fertilized, half of them survive is kind of a typical number. So say we fertilize 6, 3 survive to be embryos that can actually be transferred. So sometimes what a couple do, say they transfer the first embryo and they have a kid, they freeze the other 2, and then usually they might keep those embryos in the freezer for a couple of years because they don't know if they want a sibling or not. And basically after so much time, they need to make the decision whether they want to keep the embryos frozen, whether they want to destroy them, or whether they want to put them up for adoption and donate them.
That is, and so is that you carry that you would carry yeah. Is that the most important part to you to go through that whole pregnancy process, would you say, or?
Haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Why I haven't made I don't know how comfortable I feel yet. It took me ages to get comfortable with the sperm donor. Was never comfortable with it. And now I am not comfortable with the idea of a donor embryo yet. And I don't know. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I've sat on the idea for months. Actually, I've sat on the idea. My last IVF treatment was last year, October, and it didn't work. And then I've kind of sat on this idea for then, and I don't know where my head sits with it. But I have friends now who've done that.
Yeah. What is it? What part of it is the part that you're most not comfortable with?
The idea that it's not mine.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah.
And I feel like I've already kind of sort of not sacrificed, it's the wrong word, but my idea was to have a baby with a partner. I'm like, okay, I kind of adjusted that ideal and I decided a donor. And now I'm like, it's just letting go of it again to be like, okay, am I okay with adoption now? Like, is that my only option of an embryo? And I don't know yet. I haven't worked enough through it. I don't know when I'll get to it.
Well, you got to when you got to your decision when you got to it right before, so it's percolating, right? It's out there.
Yeah.
Also, you might be. I mean, last time you did this, you were birthing this whole empire. You might be birthing another chapter as well. It sounds like some big things are happening in the background for your business and for your community. So it'll be exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah. Can I ask, Amy, and you can tell me to fuck off, but has there been anyone that you've met in these years that you've kind of thought maybe I might do this with this person?
Tricky question.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to answer
Small
it.
community form as well. Like, jeez.
I have dated, and I have dated recently. And it's a tricky question to answer.
No, I don't. We don't
accept. Fuck off. I'm waiting for the day someone actually does.
Wonder for you, and Amy, this is probably go on. Go on.
I was going to say, I think some of me though, it still hasn't fully let go of that. All my friends tell me, still, they're like, it hasn't worked because you're going to meet somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's the meaning, isn't it?
That's what they all still believe in. They're like, we still don't believe that you're not going to meet, and it hasn't. That's why. So part of me does still have hope of okay, maybe this is just around the corner for me. So I think with this whole donor embryo choice, I have more time. Like, I could do it probably up until I'm about maybe till 40. Ideally, I wouldn't want to, but I know there's less urgency on that decision. And I do kind of still have hope of like, okay, maybe it will work out how I wanted it to work out in the first place. So I think
Yeah,
that in the decision, it's like, how much do you still let go of that hope? I haven't
yeah,
fully let go of that story yet.
yeah. I love that. You need to bring the dating nights back.
Bring them back.
Oh
Or
dear.
someone does.
I want to come and MC them then. Fine.
Amazing. It's your job.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
where do you see yourself? What do you think's coming? What do you think's
apart from the
coming
man and the
for?
baby.
Yeah, other
No.
than the beautiful human life, what do you think is coming for you as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as Bondi Beach Babes? What do you think's coming?
What do I think's coming? Having read my book of magic, actually, I'm not all the way through yet. I'm on chapter 5. I'm just there's a lot of abundance and magic on its way. And I'm real back in this trying to have fun with it era, I think.
Yes,
Yeah. So I hopefully a lot of adventures and fun and yeah, positive things.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love that. I have had the most amazing chat. Nita, do you have any final words?
I did. I don't know if you remember this, Amy, but when it was lockdown, when you were in the UK, we had a call once and we were chatting through how you had this vision, and it wasn't quite Bondi Beach Babes, but I think that's what came of it. I don't know if you remember, you wanted something, you talked about women, and maybe it was more in a business sense. Maybe that was the whole
Yeah.
business babe side of it, but there was something in that. And it was we talked about it loads and you really wanted this thing. And as I watched Bondi Beach Babes grow, I always remember that conversation. I always thought that's what she was talking about back then. And that's what she's able to.
Wow.
So I just really want to acknowledge you, because I remember you saying that you wanted that to be your career. You wanted to get out of what you were doing and you wanted that to be your thing. And for me, that was what you birthed in Bondi Beach Babes, I think, from what I remember you saying in that conversation. So I just want to acknowledge that I saw that vision, way back then to where you are now with it. So well done. It's fucking amazing. From 40 women to 33,000 now. And, it's just so amazing. And probably the stories that you don't even know in half of the friendships that have been formed and the lives that may have been saved in those, those meetings of those people. So yeah, love you lots, and can't wait to see what else is coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep
Appreciate
creating. Keep creating. And I'm going to try come to pickleball on the 2nd of August. So
You're coming?
I'll try. I land on the 29th. So pending.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to come. Are you going to be there?
I will be there. 100% come.
It'd be lovely to see you in person.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And you do a trip back here at some point.
I know.
Were you here last year, didn't I? Yeah. You and Mickey?
Mickey and I were
Another
talking
holiday?
about it, actually.
It
It
come.
needs to happen.
Yeah, it'd be great to see
she's
you.
recruiting everyone over here, let me tell you. How I ended up here.
Is it? Only recruited you?
I mean, I'm temporarily here, but we'll see. I'm back in Sydney on the 29th.
Okay.
Just, go between,
until the next
how I go
chapter.
for a while. But I have had the most lovely time. It's always inspiring to talk to people who built things and created things from the ground up, because it helps anyone who's listening know that they can do it too. Because what one man or woman does, another person can do too. So that's really exciting. Thank you so much, Amy.
Oh my God, thank you. That was really lovely. Thanks.
Oh.